What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fan? It's your boy right here, JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Network and channel. Just want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew. I'm talking about Shy, Kelvin, and Jermaine. For everyone who's tuning in, subscribe to Behind the Bench and support this show and help make this podcast the best that it can be. Now, it's just a quick take right here, man. You know, this is a picture of the 4 major professional sports leagues in the United States, right? You got the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NHL, and the NBA. Right? And the reason I mention the leagues in that order is because, do you notice a trend that's been going on? Probably for the past, I'm going to say, the past 7 years. Now think about it. Major League Baseball historians will always recognize its past greats. No matter what era. And do you notice they never really like have a debate or a constant discussion about who's the greatest baseball player ever. Because there's so many variables. I don't really like to, when I think of baseball, I don't think of it in that terms of like who's the greatest player. You know, because it's very hard to win a World Series. Not saying that it's not hard to win a Super Bowl or a Stanley Cup or NBA championship, because they're all difficult and a major challenge. But I'm saying that baseball, man, you know, it's just so many variables to where, baseball has been such a constant to where the rules have never really changed per se. Once Major League Baseball became an established entity in sports culture, you know, a home run was a home run, a single was a single, a double was a double, a triple was a triple. No shot clock per se. And that's why, you know, that's why they call baseball the national pastime. They never disrespect their past greats. Never. And they continue to honor the late great Jackie Robinson on opening day, Major League Baseball. They honor the number 42 in remembrance of Jackie, and I think it's a beautiful thing, man. Now, in football, if anybody, you know, came up during the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and early 2000s, well, NFL football had this great long-standing relationship with Steve Sable, who produced NFL Films, and they documented, gave you great commentary on, you know, providing like exclusive footage, man, of great football players, memorable games, fantastic finishes, big time tackles, great catches, great throws, great blocks. And NFL Films provided the essence of professional football. And with the great narration, they would carry those documentaries through, and the awesome music to support that. Oh man, it was second to none. It made you love the NFL even more. And they do not disparage the past great players. They don't do it, man. They hold them like to the standard, like Jim Brown. Many people still say Jim Brown is the greatest running back of all time. And he played during the 50s and 60s. It's almost like he's still the standard bearer, because he only played 9 years. And I believe he's only one of 2 running backs to ever average 5 yards of carry throughout the course of his career. I think he and Barry Sanders, if I'm not mistaken. So they uphold their great players, man. And it's awesome, you know. And you can still love what the current players are doing, but respect those players of the past. And I imagine they do the same thing in hockey, NHL. They've had a lot of great hockey players of the past, man. And I'm not a hockey expert, but I do, I do recall the legends such as Gordie Howe, people like that. Of course, Wayne Gretzky, the great one, Eric Lindros. There's just so many great hockey players, that you come to respect. You know what I'm saying? Mario Lemieux, Mark Messier, you know what I'm saying? But they uphold their history. Now, getting to the NBA, they used to do that for the longest. Perfect example, during All-Star weekend, they would feature the legends of the game, the retired legends of the game, and it was called the Legends Game. So you got to see Havlicek, Cousy, Elvin Hayes, Rick Barry, all the greats, man, like Nate Thurmond, Tommy Heinsohn, Lenny Wilkins, Bob Pettit. So that way you got to know who those players were back then, man. And you come to Jerry West and, of course, Wilt Chamberlain. And they respected, man. It's like you honored and revered those luminaries, man, the pioneers, man, George Mikan. And it was awesome, man. And you still love the players of the current generation. See, everybody got their shine. But for some reason, they not doing that now. They not doing that. And the past players, man, for the past 7 years, they trash these players of the past. They call them firemen and milkmen and electricians and all that. Well, they had to set the framework. They had to establish the NBA to become the awesome league that we know as of today. That is carried over from the 50s to the 60s to the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s to the 2010s until this current decade of the 2020s. And they disrespect those players so much, man. It's a major turnoff. And every day it be the same. Like when the season start, watch. Someone hit a jump shot or someone get hot behind three. Someone scored 30 points. They're going to say, oh, man, these players today, they bigger, stronger, and faster. But at the end of the day, the game is the game. You see what I'm saying? It's all about the competition anyway. And you really can't say they're bigger because the average height of the NBA player has actually decreased over these past 10, 15 years compared to the era of all-time elite centers. The Shaqs, the Hakeem Olajuwons, the Pat Ewings, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Moses Malones, the Alonzo Mournings, the Robert Parishes, the Bill Lambiers, the Jack Sigmas. We can go on and on all day long. You know what I'm saying? But to hear this constant commentary of all the major professional sports leagues, the NBA right now, because there's a very direct and ill will agenda that's being propagated on the airwaves every single day. And then they have the audacity to try to diminish the career of what most people would consider to be, especially those who watch them play, the greatest basketball player who's ever competed in this league, in Michael Jordan. I never thought in a million years that I'd be seeing it, but it's here. But it won't last though, but it's frustrating because the whole history of the league prior to this current era, that I would say from 2010 on, I think is doing a disservice to the youth generation of today who has gravitated to the NBA, and they're getting a distorted view of the past, and it's setting them up to be ill-advised to when they really start asking and posing questions to why things are starting to, deteriorate the way that it is. But I just want to drop that nugget. I'll be talking about more of this down the line. Until next time, this is JB, BTB, Behind the Bench.